Election cycles are known for their unpredictability, and recent events have certainly underscored this fact. In a surprising twist, Robert F. Kennedy, who had garnered support from between 5 and 10% of American voters, has unexpectedly bowed out of the race. What makes this development even more fascinating is his decision to endorse Donald Trump. This move is poised to have a profound effect on the Harris campaign. Donald Trump's campaign appears stronger every day, and Kennedy's endorsement could streamline his path to the presidency. In today's video, we will delve into the ramifications of Kennedy's exit on the electoral scenario and how it simplifies Trump's campaign tactics. We'll start by examining the certain states on our map, which will likely reduce the number leaning towards Harris. A state is considered solid when a candidate is projected to win there by more than 15 percentage points. Harris's stronghold states include California, Hawaii, Vermont, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Maryland, the District of Columbia, and Maine's 1st District, totaling 97 electoral votes. As for Trump, he is anticipated to easily clinch victories in states like Utah, Wyoming, Idaho, Montana, both Dakotas, most of Nebraska, as well as Kansas, Oklahoma, Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, West Virginia, South Carolina, Alaska, and Maine's 2nd District. With these states, Trump initially holds a lead of 126 electoral votes over the vice president's 97. The general consensus is that Kennedy's departure will most likely benefit Trump. Betting platforms such as PredictIt indicate a 71% probability that Trump will gain the most from this, while there's a 34% chance that Harris might see a bump in her numbers due to Kennedy's exit. Returning to our electoral map, we shift our focus to the swing states. These are the areas where the victory margin is predicted to be between 7 and 15 points. These states are more contested than the guaranteed ones, but one candidate still has a significant advantage. Starting with the likely Democratic states. Several have consistently voted blue in previous elections, notably during Joe Biden's 2020 campaign, including Washington, Oregon, and Illinois, where he won comfortably. New York also falls into this category. But securing a win for Kamala Harris there might not be straightforward, especially with Kennedy's endorsement of Trump. States like Washington and Oregon are expected to lean towards Harris by about 12 to 14 points. Colorado could witness a tighter contest, with the gap potentially closing to single digits. Biden previously secured Colorado by 14 points, but this margin could narrow to around 9 points this time. Illinois is also expected to be less of a stronghold for the vice president. In the Northeast, New York, New Jersey, and Joe Biden's home state of Delaware also appears vulnerable. With current issues like the Bob Menendez bribery scandal impacting Democratic appeal in New Jersey, it will likely still lean blue. New York is projected to be a battleground for Harris, potentially marking the first time a Democrat wins the state by a non-solid margin since Michael Dukakis in 1988, putting Harris at 191 electoral votes. Before moving further, hit the subscribe button and tell us in the comments what state result would surprise you the most in this election. Donald Trump's prospects for winning key states appear strong, which could significantly bolster his electoral vote total. Unlike previous third-party contenders, Kennedy has established a solid foothold nationally, consistently polling between 5 and 10 percentage points across the board. This is a stark contrast to Evan McMullin's 2016 performance, where he only managed significant numbers in Utah, his home state, capturing 21% of the votes, just under Clinton's 27%. Kennedy's broader appeal is boosting Trump's chances nationwide. States like Iowa and Ohio, historically swing states, now show a strong Republican tilt. Following Trump's victories in these states by about 10 percentage points in both the 2016 and 2020 elections, they are predicted to stay firmly in the red this November. The trend suggests Trump might again secure these states by double-digit margins. Additionally, Trump is expected to gain 7 more electoral votes from Texas and Florida. Texas, a state that has consistently voted Republican since 1980, is again predicted to do so. Despite Democrats heavily investing in Texas during the 2020 campaign, they fell short by 5.6% despite forecasts suggesting a much closer race. This year, Trump is expected to win Texas by about 10 percentage points. Florida, known for its pivotal role in elections, has also been trending Republican. Although Obama narrowly won Florida in his 2008 and 2012 campaigns, Trump has increased his margin in the last two elections. Despite predictions favoring Biden in the previous election, Trump's support has grown, a trend highlighted when Ron DeSantis was re-elected as governor by a margin of 20 percentage points 2 years ago. While still competitive, Florida is leaning towards Trump, who is projected to win by a margin of 7 to 10 points. Given these trends, Trump currently holds an electoral vote count of 219 against Harris's 191. In the upcoming election, 128 electoral votes are still available and could swing the final result. The political landscape has shifted dramatically since the 2020 election. States such as Iowa, Ohio, Texas, and Florida, which were highly competitive previously, are now joined by others like Virginia and New Mexico, where the Democrats are finding it harder to maintain their foothold. For instance, in Virginia, recent polls suggest that Kamala Harris is ahead by only 3 points. Meanwhile, in New Mexico, her lead has narrowed to 6 points, a significant drop from Joe Biden's 11-point win in the last election. Kamala Harris holds a slender lead in several battleground states, with her advantage ranging between 2 and 7 points. Although these margins make the races very tight, Harris has a slight edge over Donald Trump. In New Mexico, where there is a large Hispanic population, the Democrats' declining popularity among these voters could pose a significant hurdle. Despite the seemingly small number of 5 electoral votes in New Mexico, they are crucial for Harris to achieve the necessary 270 electoral votes. Currently, she leads by about 5 points in the polls there, a stark contrast to Biden's comfortable double-digit lead previously. In Maine, Biden previously had a solid 9-point lead in the 2020 elections, but now, Harris's performance seems to be trailing compared to Biden's past success. However, she is still expected to gain support from Maine's outer regions, contributing 2 electoral votes as well as from Minnesota. Minnesota could see a boost in Harris's numbers thanks to her running mate Tim Walz, the state's current governor. Although Biden won the state by 7 points, its political inclination has been shifting rightward over the last 8 years, making it a challenging battleground. Harris is considered a narrow favorite in Minnesota, largely due to her choice of Walz as a running mate, a strategic decision that strengthens her position. On the other side, Donald Trump seems to be gaining ground in several states that lean towards him, especially after Kennedy's exit from the race, potentially boosting Trump's support by 5 to 10 points. North Carolina, which Trump won in both 2016 and 2020, seems likely to stay in his column. Notably, only Barack Obama in 2008 has won North Carolina for the Democrats since 1976, and Harris, without Obama's unique charisma, faces long odds against reversing this trend in 2024. Trump is expected to secure North Carolina for a 3rd straight election. Georgia, which was narrowly taken by Biden in 2020, also appears to be swinging back towards Trump this year. With Harris lagging in current polls, unlike Biden at this stage in the last election cycle, Georgia is anticipated to lean towards the Republicans again. As we wrap up our discussion on the Sun Belt states, our focus shifts to Nevada and Arizona. Even though Trump has never clinched a victory in Nevada, his losses were by slim margins of just 2.4% in both the 2016 and 2020 elections. This time around, his chances appear more favorable, especially with Kennedy bowing out, which is likely to give him a significant lift. As a result, Nevada is expected to tilt Republican, much like Arizona, where Joe Biden secured a notable win in 2020. Despite being a significant triumph for the Democrats, the narrow margin of victory implies that even a slight change in voter sentiment could tip Arizona back to Trump. With Harris not performing as strongly as Biden did 4 years prior, Arizona looks set to switch to Republican control as well. In the Midwest and Northeast, a handful of states remain where Trump is anticipated to make advances. Wisconsin, offering 10 electoral votes, is particularly pivotal for Kamala Harris to win. Trump had a strong showing here in 2016, outperforming Biden's narrow win in 2020. Known as one of the most fiercely contested battlegrounds in the country, and with Kennedy's departure likely enhancing Trump's prospects, Wisconsin may well be the first of the upper Rust Belt states to revert to supporting Trump, much like Pennsylvania. Losing Pennsylvania and its critical 19 electoral votes could prove decisive for Harris, especially since Trump currently leads in the polls there. The momentum from Kennedy's exit might just be enough to sway the state in Trump's favor. As we categorize states based on their political leaning, solid, likely, and lean, only 3 tilt states remain, each potentially decided by less than 2 percentage points. Among these, Michigan, Vermont, and Virginia. Virginia, in particular, has shown a notable political shift. While Joe Biden won Virginia comfortably in 2020 with a 10.1% margin, and Hillary Clinton secured it by 5 points in 2016, the state has been inching rightward. This trend was highlighted by Republican Glenn Youngkin's victory in the gubernatorial race in 2021. The latest polls show a close race in Virginia between Harris and Trump, with Harris pulling ahead by 3% in the most recent survey after earlier polls had favored Trump. This makes Virginia highly competitive, but Harris currently has a slight advantage, nudging it towards the Democrats. Donald Trump seems set for a victory in New Hampshire, a state he came close to winning in 2016. New Hampshire, known as the Granite State, last leaned Republican in the 2000 presidential election, but it appears Trump may swing it back this November. 8 years ago, he almost clinched a victory here, losing to Hillary Clinton by a slim margin of less than 1% in what became one of the most surprising nail-biters of that election. Although Kamala Harris shows respectable poll numbers in New Hampshire, the dynamics are expected to intensify now that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has dropped out of the race. Moving our focus to Michigan, this state, offering 15 electoral votes, finds itself in a closely contested battle where Trump holds a slight lead. His win here in 2016 could be repeated if Wisconsin and Pennsylvania also sway Republican, potentially causing Harris to lose her hold on Michigan. Over in Nebraska's 2nd District, the competition is fierce, with Trump slightly favored to win back this territory he secured in 2016, but lost in 2020. With Kennedy's recent exit, Trump's position strengthens considerably, putting him on a probable path to amass 317 electoral votes compared to Harris's 221. This projection suggests a significant downturn for the Democrats, reminiscent of Michael Dukakis's defeat in 1988. Trump is also anticipated to dominate across the Sun Belt and Midwest, including New Hampshire. Thank you for tuning into Election Atlas. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, goodbye.